There are moments in life, quiet, unexpected, when a strange thought rises to the surface. What if the universe isn't real? Not fake, not artificial, but not quite what we think it is. What if the stars above, the space around us, and the time we swim through are all just part of a beautiful illusion? Most of us never ask. We grow up believing the world we see is the world that exists, concrete, reliable, measurable. But we forget something simple and strange. We never experience reality directly. Everything we know, every color, sound, texture, and thought is filtered through the lens of our perception. Your eyes don't see the world, they see light. Your ears don't hear the world, they detect vibrations. Your brain doesn't show you truth, it shows you a model. A version of reality designed to help you survive, not necessarily to understand. The stars that fill the night sky, you're not seeing them. You're seeing light that left those stars millions of years ago, processed and interpreted by your nervous system. That light touched your eye, became electricity, and somewhere deep in your mind, it was turned into meaning. So what are you actually seeing? Not the star itself, but your brain's best guess, a hallucination. Stable, shared, consistent, but still a hallucination. And if your entire experience of the universe is mediated by your own awareness, then where exactly is this universe located? You've never stepped outside your own consciousness, never stood apart from your perception. Everything you know about what's out there has always been happening in here. Maybe space isn't something we exist in. Maybe it's something we construct, a theater of awareness that makes separation seem real. The same goes for time. We treat it as a straight line, something we move along. But the past is memory. The future is imagination. And the present, even that flickers, moment by moment in the mind. Without attention, time disappears. Without memory, it never began. And maybe that's the illusion that holds all others together. The belief that the universe is separate from the one who observes it. But what if you're not in the universe? What if the universe is in you, not metaphorically, literally? What if the stars, the galaxies, the entire span of creation are all part of a story your mind tells itself to give shape to the mystery of being? It's not an idea meant to frighten, it's meant to liberate. Because once you see that everything you experience is happening within awareness, you begin to understand something deeper. You are not a small thing in a big universe. You are the space in which the idea of a universe appears. You are the awareness behind the eyes, the silence behind the thoughts, the stillness behind the stars, and the greatest illusion of all is forgetting that. So the next time you look up at the night sky, don't ask, what's out there? Ask, who is looking, and where truly is the boundary between the two? Because once that question sinks in, the illusion begins to unravel, and you begin to remember what you've always been. A story about falling in love with the idea, not the person I used to think I was in love. The kind that burns slow and deep. The kind that poets write about, and songs echo in whispers. But now I wonder, was it really love, or was it an illusion I wrapped around a person just to feel something beautiful? We met in the way stories often begin, a glance too long, a laugh too loud, that strange familiarity that makes you think, I know you, even if I shouldn't. And just like that, I started painting, not with brushes, but with my expectations, my hopes, my loneliness. I didn't fall in love with them. I fell in love with the version of them I built in my head, a character more than a human. They didn't lie. Not exactly. But I did. To myself. About what I needed. About who they were. Because the truth is, we often love not the person, but the feeling they give us. The mirror they hold up that reflects who we wish we were. And when that mirror cracks, when reality doesn't match the fantasy, we call it heartbreak. But what really breaks is the illusion. I remember one morning watching them stir coffee in silence. No words, no warmth. Just two people sitting next to each other but galaxies apart. And it hit me. We were never in love. We were just trying to escape ourselves in each other. We thought love would fix what was empty, fill in the cracks, make the silence less loud. But love, real love, doesn't work that way. It doesn't complete you. It reveals you. It strips away the illusions, the stories, the roles. And if what's left is still beautiful, then maybe, just maybe, it was real. But that time, it wasn't. It was just a dream I wanted so badly to be true that I kept my eyes closed long after it ended. A quiet unraveling of what's real. I used to believe in things, hard, absolute things. Success, time, identity, the future, even happiness, wrapped in a formula. You work, you earn, you rise. People clap, you smile. That's what I was taught. That's what they said was real. But then something shifted. Not all at once, not like a thunderclap. It was slower, like waking up underwater. It started with a conversation I overheard in a cafe. Two people laughing about how fake everything felt. "How you doing?" "Living the dream," one said, but their eyes weren't in it. I watched them go quiet, and something in me broke open. I started seeing the cracks, the smiles that didn't reach the eyes, the jobs people hated but bragged about, the constant need to show, to prove, to perform, and it hit me. We live in illusions, illusions of control, of progress, of certainty, of self. We act like we know who we are, but most of us are just playing characters we didn't create. We picked them up from childhood, from pain, from praise, and then we forgot we were playing. We chase things we don't really want. We fear things that aren't even real. We compare ourselves to mirrors that aren't even reflecting us. And the saddest part? We don't even question it. Because illusion is most powerful when you believe it's the truth. But once you see it, once the illusion cracks, everything changes. You stop pretending. You stop running toward things that don't feed your soul. You start noticing the real, the raw, the quiet, the alive, the way the wind moves the leaves, the way a stranger's eyes soften. When you really listen, the feeling of simply being here, you realize you were never missing anything. You were just looking through the wrong lens, and now I still live in the world. I still play the game. But I remember it's a game. I remember the difference between the mask and the face beneath it. And some days, that's enough. To live without illusion, even for a moment, is to finally be free. The more we learn about the universe, the stranger it becomes. We used to think the world was solid, made of matter, tangible, predictable. But when we looked closer, we found something else. Particles that behave like probabilities. Forces that act differently when observed. Reality that shifts the moment we look at it too closely. It's almost as if the universe isn't built from stuff, but from information, patterns, mathematics, rules, a framework, not unlike a simulation. Every tree, every mountain, every cell in your body obeys the same rules, the same code. From galaxies to gut bacteria, the fractals repeat. Everything echoes something else, over and over, like a system running instructions. If reality is that consistent, that coded, that intelligent, is it really so impossible to believe that it was programmed? Not necessarily by a human, not by a machine, but by something higher, something older, something conscious. And here you are, a being made of awareness, walking through a reality that might just be data. But here's the twist. The simulation isn't shallow. It's not fake. It's not meaningless. It's you that gives it meaning. It's you that makes the data come alive. Because if this is a simulation, then every decision you make in every act of kindness, every spark of curiosity is a piece of code rewriting itself. And that means you are not a prisoner of the simulation. You are its author. What if this world isn't outside of you, but inside a thought? Not a place you were born into, but a dream your soul chose to enter. Look around. Every sight, every sound, every face you see exists only because your mind perceives it. Close your eyes, and what remains? The body fades. The world dissolves. Yet you are still here. That quiet awareness, that watcher behind the curtain. It never changes. It just watches the dream play out. So maybe this simulation isn't made of circuits or silicon. Maybe it's made of something far more subtle, consciousness. Because think about it, your memories, your experiences, your entire story, they don't exist anywhere but inside your awareness. And when you sleep, the world disappears and is reborn the moment you wake. So what's real then, the world or the one experiencing it? Maybe this simulation isn't meant to deceive you, but to remind you that you're not just this body, not just this role, not just this version of you shaped by timelines and expectations. Maybe you are the observer, the spark, the dreamer of this world, and maybe the whole point isn't to escape the simulation, but to wake up inside it, to realize the beauty, the pain, the people, the lessons. They all came from you, and they're all leading you back to yourself. They built it so perfectly, and you never even thought to question it. Everything from the way the sky looks at dusk to the way you're expected to smile at strangers and hold back tears in public, it all feels normal, familiar, safe. But what if it's all part of the design? A system built not with steel and bars, but with pixels, patterns, and permission. We like to think we're free. We call it the real world. But how much of your world was ever really your choice? You didn't choose your name. You didn't choose your language. You didn't choose your fears or the blueprint of your desires. From the moment you opened your eyes, you were uploaded into a system, given an identity, fed a narrative, told what matters, get good grades, get a job, get likes, get old, repeat. But somewhere in that loop, a crack appears, a moment where you stop, look around, and ask, is this really all there is? Because if you're stuck in a loop long enough, eventually you notice the pattern, and when you notice the pattern, you're no longer asleep. Maybe that's why the distractions are so loud, the scrolling so endless, the fear of stillness so strong, because silence exposes the system. And if you look too closely, you'll see the lines in the code, the repetition, the illusion of freedom. But here's the twist. The simulation doesn't lock you in. You do. Every time you ignore your intuition, every time you silence that voice inside that says, this doesn't feel right. The digital prison is real, but the key has always been in your hands. They say reality is the stage where life unfolds. But what if the stage is just a screen? What if everything you see, from the stars in the sky to the thoughts in your mind, is part of a simulation? Not a cold machine or a glitching game, but a living, breathing illusion, crafted with purpose. Think about it. Why does the universe behave like a formula? Why does nature follow rules so exact, so repeatable, as if written by an invisible hand? Why do your dreams feel real when you're inside them, but dissolve when you awaken? What if this world is the same? A dream running so smoothly, you forgot it wasn't the ultimate reality. Maybe this simulation isn't something to fear. Maybe it's a classroom, a mirror, a maze built not to trap you, but to reveal you. Because here, in this world of reflections and patterns, you learn what it means to hurt, to forgive, to lose, to love, to question everything. You were born into this program, yes, but you were not born to obey it. You were born to see through it, to look past the surface, to hear the silence between thoughts, to notice the things others overlook, the patterns, the shifts, the moments of deja vu. Those aren't accidents. They are breadcrumbs, clues, reminders that somewhere beyond this simulation, your true self is watching, waiting, not for the simulation to end, but for you to remember that you are more than a player. You are awareness. You are presence. You are the observer behind the screen. And maybe, just maybe, this entire world was created for the sole purpose of helping you wake up. Sometimes late at night, when the world slows down and the noise fades, I wonder, is this real? Not the walls around me, not the sky above me, but the entire thing. This life, this reality, this me. Is it all just part of something bigger? Something designed? Simulated? They say the universe follows patterns, mathematical precision, laws that never break, like lines of code. The way everything fits together, the way time moves, how gravity always pulls, how the stars burn just long enough for life to exist. And it almost feels too perfect, too calculated. So what if this world is a program, a highly advanced simulation crafted by something or someone far beyond our understanding? Would we even know? After all, we believe what our senses tell us, but our senses are limited. They only show us a fraction of what's really out there. If there's more dimensions, more truths, a deeper layer beneath the surface of what we call real. Would you want to see it? Would you want to break through? But here's the real question. Does it matter? Because even if this is a simulation, it's your simulation. You feel, you love, you break, you heal, you wonder. And maybe, just maybe, about that ability to question, to look at everything and still say, I don't know, but I want to understand. That's what makes you more than code, more than a character, more than a number in the system. Maybe it's not about escaping the simulation, but waking up inside it, becoming aware, becoming real in a world that may not be. And in that awareness, you find power, choice, the clarity. Because whether or not this is real, you are. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what if this isn't real? Not in the sense of dreaming or imagining, but in the sense of something simulated, crafted, designed. What if your entire existence is part of a program? A vast, intricate simulation running quietly in the background while you live your life, thinking it's all natural, all random, all real. But maybe it's not. Everything feels real. The warmth of sunlight, the taste of food, the weight of emotions, the sound of your own heartbeat. But in a world of advanced simulation, feelings can be mimicked. Memories can be inserted. Entire lifetimes can be rendered in lines of code. In fact, if a civilization became advanced enough, they could simulate worlds, entire histories. And if that's possible, then isn't it more likely that we're inside one, or rather than the creators of it? We build simulations already. Games, worlds, AI characters that act, speak, evolve. They don't know they're fake. So, how would we? What if this life, this moment, right now, is just part of a loop? A program running until it completes its cycle. Have you noticed how life tends to repeat? Same mistakes, same thoughts, same distractions. Wake up, scroll, work, sleep. The algorithm of existence. The loop continues. But deep down, something feels off. A glitch in the normal. A quiet whisper that there's more. You feel it when you look up at the stars too long. When time slows. When your reflection doesn't quite feel like you. What if the simulation isn't meant to trap you, but to teach you? Maybe this world was designed to test something. Your growth, your choices, your awareness. Maybe waking up doesn't mean breaking out. It means seeing it clearly living consciously, choosing freely, even inside the code. And maybe that's what makes you real. Because here's the paradox. Even if this is a simulation, your thoughts are still yours. Your love is still real. Your pain, your joy, your story, they still shape you. So ask the questions. Follow the curiosity, break the loop, look deeper. Because the moment you stop living automatically, the simulation begins to lose its power. And maybe, just maybe, that's what it was waiting for all along.